Welcome to this edition of the BRSN Insider. I'm sitting down with men's basketball coach Ryan Moody. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Dakota.
We've been practicing for a couple weeks now. How are the preseason practices going?
It's been good. We've been on the floor for about a month. We've stayed fairly healthy. Only had a couple of little injuries, nothing too major. We've gotten better. I think that the key to this team this year is really meshing some of the older guys with a whole crop of young players, guys that both redshirted and true freshmen. And I think that's coming along. I think it's still a work in progress, but clearly we're better than we were when we started October 1, so that's the key.
Okay, we got a lot of guys coming back. Talk about some of the guys you're going to lean on.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, it's the older guys. Adam Cutney, Thomas O'Connor, Peyton Heinen, Kyle Harrison. Those are our seniors. And then guys that also came in that are in their fourth year, Wills Walrap, Colby Nichols, Grant Lom. Those are guys we're going to, the older group that we will clearly lean on for leadership and just knowing the way we play, knowing the league, knowing the competition. But I think some of these younger guys are really going to step up this year too. Eric Cruz, Saxton Thuston, Jaden Temmie, even as a freshman. Some of these guys are going to step up and give us some really good minutes. I don't want to forget Jaden Bristol, who will probably be our starting point guard and is our starting point guard. So, there's a lot of moving parts here, but we really like this group.
Guys like Eric, Christian, Saxton, you mentioned Wills and Grant. How important is that year of redshirt for guys like that?
That's how we've done it since I've been the head coach here. About 80% of our guys redshirt, and it's a hard year coming from a high school where you were the big fish in a small pond, and then all of a sudden not being able to play for a year. But it pays off. It pays off academically. It pays off strength-wise. It pays off learning the system, getting invested into the school a little bit.
Yeah.
And our theory has always been win with third, fourth, and fifth-year guys that have been invested in the program, know how we play. So to answer your question directly, I think the redshirt guys, whether they're in their fourth, fifth, third year, even their first year, where they sat out a year, got stronger, got faster, have a bigger impact on your program. And we'll redshirt a couple this year, I think, too, but that's a good model for us.
Also brought in a decent-sized class and a transfer. Talk about the guys you brought in.
Yeah, the freshman class is 5 true freshmen. Jake Thompson from Rockhurst, Hunter Schneider from Shawnee Mission South, Tyson Cathy from Liberty North, Jaden Temmie from Omaha Creighton Prep, and who am I forgetting? Joel Adize from La Salette Academy in Illinois. Those are our true freshmen. We brought in size, 6'8", 6'7", 6'7". Jake's a little guard, but that has to happen too. But we did fill the size quota. Then we brought in a transfer, Chris Jackson from Urbana University in Ohio, and he brings a lot of depth to that wing position, a good defender, an athletic guy that can shoot threes and attack the rim. And I think as he fits more into the system, you're going to see him having a bigger impact too. So we're really excited about this class.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a matter of meshing it all together, getting those older guys and these new guys together and rolling as one unit out there on both ends of the floor.
Are there any of those freshmen that you could see having an impact this year?
Yeah, I think, right off the top, I think Jaden Temmie's already proven that he can get out there and play and give us an impact, as a freshman. I think Tyson Cathy can probably get out there. Chris Jackson as a sophomore and transfer, I think he'll be out there a little bit. And the rest is kind of to be determined. I think some of these guys, Joel unfortunately broke his thumb, so he's probably a for sure redshirt. He'll be out 6 weeks. But those young guys, they're going to get better, and things could change as the season goes on. We'll lean on the older guys mostly.
Conference polls came out last week. Talk about your expectations for the rest of the conference.
I think the league is by far and away the best league in the country. I mean, you've got the returning national champion. You've got another team that was in the Final Four and has been in the Final Four 2 consecutive years in William Penn. Graceland won it, of course. We've got 4 teams ranked in the top 25. Their 24 league game schedule in the Heart is by far the hardest conference in the country, and we like it. We want that.
Yeah.
We were picked 9th. I think that's probably about where I would have guessed. From what happened with our team last year and who we have returning, do I think that's where we're going to end up? No. I think this team can really achieve and can end up in that top. Well, we want to be in the conversation of the top 4. Top 4 is probably going to get you to Kansas City into the national tournament. So hopefully our non-league conference or our non-league schedule prepares us for that toughest league in the country.
Double round robin schedule. You going back to that after last year? Excited to go back to it?
Yeah, I love it. I think that's the only way in basketball. Basketball is different than other sports. I think it's the only way in basketball to really determine when national tournament bids are on the line, you need to play everybody twice and not have it in divisions. And we won an opportunity to play Mid-American Nazarene twice. We won an opportunity to play William Penn twice and Graceland twice. Like, we want that opportunity year in and year out. And going double round robin is the best way to do it.
Had your first game on Tuesday. Probably not the result you were looking for,
Sure.
but Morningside, a tough team in Division II.
Yeah. They're really talented. Number 4 preseason in the country in NAI Division II on their floor. Every guy returns all of their 100% of their scoring returned, and we walked into a hornet's nest. It was a competitive game for the first 10 minutes of each half, maybe 12 minutes of each half, and we just didn't make shots. Great learning experience for us. I mean, we don't sit here and hold our heads down and worry about it much. We got to grow from it. We'll watch film today and get a little better for Saturday, but it was quite the offensive output by them, and shots we normally make. I mean, wide open shots for some of our best shooters did not go in. I love our effort. On film, all coaches have the same kind of philosophy, right? You're never as good as you think you are, and you're never as bad as you think you are. And so when you watch it on film and you see things that are very promising, the outcome, not what we wanted by any means. But we're going to learn a lot from that and get ready for the next one.
It's your first home game on Saturday against USAO. How tough is it to prepare for a team when they didn't have a lot to return, but they brought in a lot of talent?
Yeah, it's tough, and there's no film. I mean, we're their first game, so they're going to have a little bit of film on us. We have 0 on them. They're bringing in a ton of transfers. They brought in a 6'10" guy that played at University of Tulsa last year. They brought in a couple of JUCO guys that are extremely talented. Another 4-year transfer from a D2 that'll start at the point guard position for them, we think. So you don't know. What you worry about Dakota right now is you worry about our team.
Yeah.
We want to grow from Tuesday. We want to be a little better Saturday than we were Tuesday. Hopefully that's good enough to win the game. In the long run, basketball, we're playing through the middle of March.
Yeah.
It's a marathon and not a sprint. So we're trying to get better every single day. This will be a very tough contest on Saturday, and we hope that everybody that's watching this can make it out. I know football's got a huge game up in Iowa against Granville. We wish them luck. But anybody that's on campus, we'd sure like to have you at 2 o'clock on Saturday.
All right, Coach, thank you. Best
Thanks,
luck
Dakota.
to you on
Appreciate
Saturday.
it. Thank you.
Men's basketball coach Ryan Moody on the BRSN Insider.
A wise man once said, "The world offers you comfort, but you were not made for comfort. You were made for greatness." Discover what you were made for. Benedictine College, where greatness begins.
Back on the BRSN Insider, I'm sitting down with Director of Track and Field and Cross Country, Henry Brun. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You guys had the Mid-States Classic a couple weeks ago. Just talk about what you saw at that meet from both sides.
It was a good meet for us to see some good NAI competition. There were some top-notch NAI schools there. Oklahoma City was there. They're number 1 in the country on one side. And Wayland Baptist was there, and they're number 1 in the country on the other side. There's some good teams in between. And there was about 26 total teams there.
Yeah.
So it was deep competition, good competition. On the women's side, we had a couple girls that were a little banged up, feeling a little under the weather. And even with that, we still performed fairly well. From 3rd to 6th was really close. It was only 9 total points. And those 3 teams that we were competing with from 3rd to 6th were all now ranked in the top 35. So we knew that it would be good competition for them. On the men's side, we did all right. We had John Danner had a personal best in the 8K. He's now top 10 all-time on the team. I think he's number 2 on the list all-time for his performance last week. And the guys did all right as a whole. We got beat by Evangel, who's going to be a tough conference competitor. But it kind of gave us some room to improve for this upcoming weekend's conference championships.
You guys get to host the conference championships this weekend. Talk about everything that's gone into hosting and what it means for you guys to host.
It's huge. It's the first time we've ever hosted, and we're really excited about it. Having our home meet earlier this season helped us work out all the kinks for a logistical standpoint of things that we need to do with the course and everything. But just going out there and fine-tuning some things, repainting the course. We went out there and ran the course a little bit and have been training on it this fall just to make sure that it's a good surface. This weekend's supposed to be dry, unlike the home meet where it was very wet and very muddy. So the surface is hard, which means it's going to be pretty quick. But all in all, setting up for the meet was pretty easy. We're really excited about getting people from the community to campus, and then getting the 11 other teams in the conference and their fans out there and just really cheering everybody on.
What are your expectations on the women's side? They won the meet the first time around. What are your expectations for conference?
So going in, it's going to be a fight between us and MNU for that title. And we beat MNU earlier in the season, and then they got us a couple times later on in the season. So at Roy Griek, they got us by a few points. They got us by 8 points at Mid-States a couple weeks ago. And so it's just going to come down to our 5 versus their 5 varsity 5s. and who can come out there and do what they need to do. So we have a good shot on the women's side of winning. We have a good shot of being top 2. And there are a couple individuals, if we do not win and get the bid as a team to go, we've got a couple individual athletes in Sarah White and Melanie Cozy who I think can get an individual bid to go to the national championships.
How do you earn an individual bid?
So you've got to be one of the athletes not in the qualifying team, and you've got to be one of the top 6 non-qualifiers in the top 15 total. So if you're not top 15, you're not going, whether you're a team or not. And in order for us to win as a team, we're going to have 5 in the top 15 to 17. So
Okay.
it'll be
Now on the other side, what are your expectations for the men?
The men have been heavy favorites throughout the course of the season. We slipped a little bit a couple weeks ago in the meet that we had, but I think that we are going to come full force, and I think we should win. John Danner has been leading the way all season. He's at a point where I think that he can go out there and fight for a top spot and win as an individual. And then 2 through 9 even on our team, they run within 20 seconds of each other, and they run as a pack. And we call it, as the coaching staff, the Great White Line. And you see them on the course, and it's just a long white line of jerseys. And so we're hoping we go out there, and if we can do the exact same thing, putting 5 to 7 in the top 20, I think we can come home with the second conference title in school history for them.
Late in the year, just talk about how important the seniors have been to your program this year.
The seniors have been really important. On the women's side, Maria Doyle, she's one of our top 7 varsity girls, and Katie Weaver, who's been a 4-year track athlete who actually picked up cross country for the first time this year, is our number 7 girl. And they have helped a lot in the 4 years they've been here to help mold kind of this cross country program, and even just the transition they've gone in this year with really rebuilding the women's side. They've been a tremendous help. On the men's side, we've got 4 seniors. John Danner's our number 1, and he's come a long way from his freshman year. And he had that breakthrough a couple of years ago, and he's been a great leader for this program on and off the track. Joseph Barnes has been consistent for us for 4 years. He's been to nationals a couple times in cross country. He knows what it's like. He knows that environment. He knows how to play when it's time to play. And then you've got Andy Kaiser, who's been overcoming some things the last couple of years with health, and Joseph Lynch, the same deal. And both of them have had some great seasons being healthy, and they've both had some top 7 opportunities as well. And I think that they're going to be able to carry that load on both sides to make sure that we can go out there and contend the best that we can.
What would it mean for your team to win a conference title, especially when you get to host?
It's going to mean a lot. I mean, this is my first year with them. We changed a lot with training and just the cultural standpoint and some different things like that. And so for them to buy in from August till now, we've come such a long way. And for us to host and it being at home, and it's the first time we've ever hosted, my first year, the men have only won the title once. The women have won it twice in the past 4 years, so this would be 3 in the last 5. It kind of solidifies some middle and long distance excellence at this school.
Yeah.
I think it would be tremendous if we came home with a conference title, and that's what we're fighting for. I think that we can go out there and put our best foot forward, and I think we have a legitimate shot at winning on both sides this weekend.
All right, Coach, thank you very much, and best luck to you on Saturday.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Director of Track and Field and Cross Country, Henry Brun, on the BRSN Insider.
A wise man once said, "The world offers you comfort, but you were not made for comfort. You were made for greatness." Discover what you were made for. Benedictine College, where greatness begins.
Back on the BRSN Insider, I'm sitting down with Assistant Athletic Director Josh Pound. Josh, thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here.
We've heard from Coach Brun and Coach Moody already, both fall and winter events going on this weekend. We'll recap everything else that hasn't been talked about already. We'll start with the men's soccer team that all conference came out this week, and they host on Saturday.
Yeah, they've got 3 guys on the all-conference team, 2 second-team performers, and Trayton Schaefer and Callum James. And then Rory Cotter got a third-team nomination there as well. And, yeah, they open up their postseason. They were fortunate enough this year to get in to the quarterfinal round, so they got a bye in the first round, which happened earlier this week. So on Saturday night at 7, they'll get a revenge match with the MNU Pioneers. This will be the second year in a row we've played MNU in the postseason. And Last year's match came down to a PK shootout and was the difference for the program between getting in the national playoffs and not. So a lot riding on the line this year for the men's soccer team as they head into the postseason.
And in women's soccer, their all-conference came out. They won a conference title again on Saturday.
Yeah, they were fortunate enough. They took care of business on Saturday night. They beat Clark University 1-0. And because Culver Stockton beat MNU 3-0, then our Ravens got their for this senior class at least, it'll be their third conference title, regular season conference title in 4 years. So pretty impressive for them. Their all-conference came out a little bit surprised maybe from a couple of the positions that came out this year in the poll or in the standings, the team. But nevertheless, a good showing for the Ravens. Molly Schmidt was named the Defensive Player of the Year. Emily Ambule, the Offensive Player of the Year. They both got first team. And then Molly Schmidt was also named the Overall Player of the Year in the conference. I'd have to go back and look, but since 2013, or even maybe the year before that, that's at least one of those spots on the all-conference team belong to a Raven. So that's a pretty good run there for Coach Robley and his squad to have one of the better individual players in the conference every year since then. Then joining Molly and Emily on the first team, you had Olivia Myers and Nicole Kelly. Can't talk enough about what Olivia's done this season. One of the top assist leaders in the NAIA this year. Really settled into that midfield position here in her senior year. And then Nicole Kelly, probably one of the most prolific scorers in at least the conference, if not the NAIA this year. And she'll have an opportunity to continue to play, hopefully, into the national tournament this year and put that on stage. Just as many goals scored as what Emily Ambule did this year, so very good candidate for Offensive Player of the Year as well. But Emily had the assist numbers that kind of led to that. And then you look at the second team for the Ravens, Anna Romano, Abby Hare, Natalie Duke. Again, more all-conference recognition for those three. A couple of seniors there, and Anna and Abby, and then a rising sophomore in Natalie Duke, and they were all three huge contributors to this year's team.
And then women's basketball, they get started this weekend as well. Chad Folsom, very young squad this year.
Yeah, but a lot of experience. If you unfortunately weren't able to get Coach in today to kind of update things, but if you were able to watch the virtual media day clip that we posted last week, feels very good about this year's squad. A lot of junior leadership this year. And, they travel to Ottawa this weekend to play in the annual KCAC Heart Challenge. They'll take on St. Mary's Friday night, and then they host Ottawa on Saturday afternoon.
And then wrestling, they also get kick-started this weekend. Marcus Cobbs and his program get back in action.
Yep, second-year head coach Marcus Cobbs will take his squad down to Baker and compete in the annual Dan Harris Open on Sunday. So looking for good things from them this year as well as they get settled in. Of course, they'll have their first home duel coming up next week as well. So everything is starting to kick up for the winter sports.
So we'll try to have Coach Cobbs in here next weekend, that day of that duel. And then we get to talk about football. And the North always comes down to this game, it seems like, between
number 8, Benedictine this week, and number 5, Grandview. Grandview got away with one last weekend up at Culver Stockton by the hair of their chinny chin chins. Last second field goal, I think, with like 13 seconds to go. So they dropped to number 5 from number 4. Was a candidate for the NAIA Game of the Week. Unfortunately, they didn't get it, but is the Heart Game of the Week. So it'll be 2:30 on Saturday. The Ravens will travel up to Des Moines and take on Grandview. Not a lot of history between the two schools, just the 4th meeting between them. But neither team has won a home game in the matchup. So Grandview has a 2-1 lead. Both their wins coming here in Atchison. And then 2 years ago, Benedictine went up to Des Moines and won 7-3 in a barn burner. Which, when you look at the offenses that these two schools have this year, 7-3. I'm sure the defensive coordinators would love that, but the offensive coordinators would be very frustrated, as you've got two of the most prolific offenses in the NAI and definitely in the heart of America going up against each other on Saturday.
All right, Josh, thank you for joining us.
Yep.
Assistant Athletic Director Josh Pound on the BRSN Insider.